If you're prepping for any kind of accounting or business exam, you know inventory questions are pretty much guaranteed to show up. And mastering the two big systems for tracking it, perpetual and periodic, isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So that's what we're going to do right now. By the end of this, you'll have these concepts down cold. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a basic problem these systems are trying to solve. Then we'll get into what each system is, compare them right next to each other, and look at the pros and cons. We are definitely going to bust a super common myth that trips people up on exams, and then I'll leave you with a really easy memory trick to make it all stick. All right, first things first. Before we can even start comparing these two systems, we've got to understand the core business challenge they were both invented to fix. I mean, it sounds so simple, doesn't it? But this is the million-dollar question for any company that sells, well, stuff. How much do you have in the warehouse right now? And just as important, what's the cost of the stuff you've already sold? Getting those answers right is everything when it comes to your financial reports. So to solve that fundamental problem, accounting basically gives us two different paths, two totally distinct ways of thinking about it, the perpetual system and the periodic system. First up, we have the perpetual system, and the key word here is continuous. The name kinda gives it away, right? Perpetual. Think of it as a live, constantly running scoreboard. Every time new inventory comes in the door, the inventory account goes up. Every time an item is sold, the inventory account goes down. And this is key, the cost of goods sold account gets updated right then and there. It's all happening in real time. Now, the periodic system, it's a whole different ballgame. Instead of updating all the time, it only updates the books at specific moments, or periods, at the end of the month or the quarter, or maybe just once a year. All throughout that time, your inventory account pretty much just sits there, unchanged. The only way you can figure out what you have left and what your cost of goods sold actually is to literally go out and count every single item by hand. So we've got these two totally different philosophies, but how do they really stack up day to day? Let's put them right next to each other and see the difference in black and white. Okay, this right here, this is probably the number one thing you have to remember for your exam. With the perpetual system, you can look at your books at any given moment and know exactly what you have and what you've sold. But with the periodic system, you're basically flying blind in between those physical counts. You really don't know the true numbers until the period is over and you've counted everything. And check this out, you can see how the type of business you run really dictates which system makes more sense. I mean, it's just common sense, right? If you're a car dealership selling very expensive, unique items, you absolutely need that continuous real-time tracking. But if you're a hardware store selling thousands of cheap nuts and bolts, well, that simpler periodic system starts to look a lot more practical. And that leads us right into the classic trade-off. See, picking a system isn't just about what you're selling. It's about balancing your need for perfect information against the real-world cost and effort of getting it. And that trade-off is laid out perfectly right here. The perpetual system gives you amazing, up-to-the-second data. That's a huge pro. But the catch? It's a lot more work, more complex, and more expensive to maintain. On the flip side, the periodic system is way easier and cheaper to run, but you completely give up that real-time visibility. So you're essentially choosing between precision and price. Okay, I need you to lean in for this next part because we are about to tackle a massive misconception, one that accounting exam writers absolutely love to use to trip people up. This is the trap. It is so easy to think, well, if the perpetual system is always updating my records automatically, why on earth would I need to do a manual count? It seems totally logical, but I'm telling you, it is absolutely 100% false. Let that sink in for a second. This is the rule, straight from the textbook. Both systems, without a single exception, require a physical inventory count. Please do not fall for that trick question on your exam. So why is this true? Well, the reasons are actually different for each system, but they're both incredibly important. For a perpetual system, the physical count is basically a reality check. It's how you verify that your fancy computer records actually match what's on the shelves and catch things like theft, damage, or even just simple data entry mistakes. But for the periodic system, the physical count isn't just a checkup, it's the main event. It is literally the only way to figure out your ending inventory and your cost of goods sold. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've gone through the definitions, the trade-offs, and that critical exam myth. Now let's lock it all into place so you are ready to go on exam day. Think of this table as your ultimate cheat sheet. When are the books updated? Continuously versus at the end of the period. Is your cost of goods sold known? Always versus only after you count. How much work is it? Complex versus simple. And the big one, is a physical count needed? Yes, for both, but for totally different reasons. And here it is, the one thing I want you to walk away with. If you can just burn this simple phrase into your memory, perpetual is perpetually updating, you can figure out everything else. Seriously. If you know that perpetual is always updating, then you know periodic has to be the opposite. It only updates periodically. If perpetual always knows the inventory balance, periodic must not. Let that one little phrase be your guide. Remember it, and you'll be able to nail any question they throw at you on this topic.